We brought you this story yesterday as breaking news here at noon. Those two officers now accused of beating a handcuffed homeless man until he was unconscious.
Bada bing, bada boom. Social Inform Media.
This story comes to us from WSVN.com. Out of Florida, two former Hialeah police officers who were arrested face felony charges for allegedly beating a homeless man and will remain in jail after they faced a judge. Now, the attorneys for 27-year-old Rafael Otano and 22-year-old Lorenzo Orfila, is that what it says, attempted to get their clients out of jail after they were denied bond last week. Attorney Michael Pizzi, who represents Otano, indicated his client deserves to be granted bond. Pizzi said, "This decorated police officer, a father and family man, forcing him to remain in jail with no bail, when so many thousands of career criminals are released on bail, it's really, really a sad day for the court system." But I love when they say, this decorated police officer. And we're not saying this officer's guilty. I mean, it's still an allegation. But the fact that he's decorated doesn't mean he's a great police officer. He might be out there violating people's civil rights, turning his head when bad cops act bad. You know, I've seen that. I've seen officers who are decorated that somebody's violating civil rights, they turn their head and they go, "That ain't me." No, but you're standing next to him in a police uniform. I don't know, I digress. But I always add that, this decorated police officer. Look, that's just a smoke cloud, okay? Doesn't mean anything. Family members of Otano who attended the hearing were in tears. And some were seen blowing kisses at his virtual appearance at the iPad where he was appearing. And one family member said over the iPad, "Be strong." Both ex-officers are accused of kidnapping Jorge Ortega Gutierrez from a shopping center, taking him to a secluded area and beating him up. Why? But they're accused of that. Surveillance video showed Ortega handcuffed as he was being taken away by Otano and Orfila. Although the homeless man was never officially arrested, he was still driven away in the police cruiser. So a surveillance video, basically to sum it up, shows him handcuffed. They drive him off in the police car, but he was never arrested. And then he shows up beat up.
Two Hialeah police officers now behind bars for allegedly kidnapping and beating a homeless man unconscious.
It's a sad and disappointing day when any officer betrays a badge.
In a news conference Thursday, the state attorney's office announced the officers Rafael Otano and Lorenzo Orfila took a homeless man into custody on December 17th. It happened after a disturbance call outside a bakery called Los Tres Conejitos in Hialeah.
He was taken to an isolated and dark location against his will.
It was what happened next that prosecutors say is criminal.
And while handcuffed, he was allegedly beaten and thrown to the ground by the officers.
Gutierrez says he was knocked out and woke up all alone with no handcuffs.
Very interesting. 2 + 2 is 4. Thursday afternoon, Miami-Dade State Attorney Catherine Fernandez Rundle announced the officers' arrests. She said, "We will not allow rogue police officers to abuse their powers." Attorneys for both officers said the main witness in the case is Jorge Ortega Gutierrez, who has a long criminal history and cannot be trusted. Well, cops can't be trusted. I mean, if there's no video, they'll just write whatever makes it look good for them. When there's video, they got to write what happened. We've seen that at that Cherokee police department. I just did the editorial, but where the sheriff said, "Well, I didn't know what happened when we just released the press release." Well, you should have waited until the video came out, because remember, the video did not match. That's the one where Jason, what's his name? Harding Jason Kepler got shot in the house, remember? Had his hands up. And he said, "What's going on?" Bang, bang, bang. And then the sheriff said, "Well, he confronted our officers and they had to shoot him." And then the video came out and he was standing like this, not confronting them. My point is this: when they say, "Well, this man with a long criminal history cannot be trusted," cops can't be trusted. I digress. He says they insist their clients did nothing wrong. Robert Barrar, who's Orfila's attorney, said he's not guilty. He looks forward to going to trial and believes wholeheartedly that he'll be exonerated completely. We'll see. Time will tell. Pizzi, the other attorney for Otano, said, "We think these charges are ridiculous. He was a police officer on patrol in his sector doing his job." Well, so was Derek Chauvin. And so were the 5 Memphis police officers who were being charged. They were just police officers in their sector patrolling. I'm not saying Otano and Orfila are guilty. I'm just saying there's a history here. There's a track record of law enforcement in this country doing wrong. And then people going, "Well, they're cops, man. Come on. They're just doing their job." Yeah. What do people always say? So were those guys in 1939. The hearing to see if Orfila will be granted bond was pushed to February 6th, so they're going to have another bond hearing. A third man, Al Selah, was arrested and accused of tampering with evidence. He also remains in jail and is set to face the judge on February 6th. Tampering with evidence. Is that like deleting a video from an arrest, and, is that tampering with evidence? Could be. One of the attorneys said this case is likely to be combined for trial. They're going to combine all the three into a trial, which they probably will. But surveillance. They said there's surveillance video. Homeless man handcuffed. Homeless man driven away. Homeless man ends up beat up. Not arrested. But the officers did nothing. And why'd they handcuff him and drive him off if they weren't going to arrest him? Things that make you go, "What the f-?"